Hi, I'm Christian. Welcome back to another On the Road video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com. Stop. Before beginning any repair, always be sure to disconnect the power to the appliance. It is also recommended to test the outlet for proper voltage. Today we are working on an estate top mount refrigerator. The customer's complaint is that the freezer section isn't cooling properly. We've already checked the frost pattern on the actual evaporator and the frost pattern is fine. We want to make sure that the actual condenser fan motor is running because the center divider in between both doors is a little warm. So to begin the repair, we're going to access the rear of the appliance. The tools you will need to complete this repair are a 1/4 inch nut driver. Now that we have accessed the rear of the appliance, we're going to remove the lower compartment cover here. There are 4 1/4 inch screws that secure it into place. We'll remove them all. So once the last screw has been removed, we can take a hold of the panel here and set it aside. We now have access to the condenser fan motor. Now that the service panel has been removed, we have access to the condenser fan motor assembly. To remove the old one, the first thing we must do is remove the drain tube here. We're gonna push up on the drain tube and then slide it outward to get it out of this drain pan and then push or pull off. We'll set this aside. And the next thing we're gonna do is remove the 3 1/4 inch screws on the white parts of the condenser fan motor. This is just the securing bracket, we'll say. So once all 3 screws have been removed, we can now take a hold of the actual assembly here and carefully route it out through the actual sealed system copper coils. Be careful. There is 1 Molex connector on it. We're gonna push in the tabs in the middle and then pull it directly off, just like this. We now have the whole assembly. We can remove the actual motor and the fan blade here on the floor. So now that we have the condenser fan motor assembly here on the floor that we can work with, the first step to do is to pull off the fan blade. Be careful when doing so because the fan blade is made of plastic and over time they do get brittle and they can chip or break easy. So we're just gonna push up on the fan blade here to remove it from the shaft of the motor. Just like that. We'll set it aside. Now we'll flip this assembly on the other side. There are 2 1/4 inch screws that actually secure the motor to the bracket here. So we're gonna remove them both. Now, as we're removing them, I'm using one hand to hold the actual motor on the other side, or else it'll just fall straight to the floor. Go ahead and pull off the actual motor and set it aside. Now with our new fan motor, let's install it. We're gonna line up the new fan motor with the bracket here and secure it with the 2 1/4 inch screws we removed earlier. Now this new fan motor does not come with a new fan blade, so we are reusing the old fan blade. So make sure that you didn't break it when taking it off the old motor. So now that the motor's secure, we'll flip this assembly on the back side, and then we're gonna push the actual fan blade directly on. Just like that. Now that we have the fan blade on the assembly, we can now reinstall the assembly onto the refrigerator. We're gonna start lining up the condenser fan motor assembly. The first step we wanna do is reconnect the Molex connector. So we're gonna line up the connection and push it straight on. We can now start lining up the actual bracket or the motor assembly next to the condenser. And once the unit's been lined up most of the way, we can go ahead and re-secure the actual bracket with the 3 1/4 inch screws we removed earlier. Once all 3 screws are secure, we can now secure the drain tube back to the actual drain tube that's mounted on the actual refrigerator. So we're gonna first push the shaft over just like that, and then once it's up all the way, we can secure the actual drain tube into the drip pan, just like that. So we can now reattach the service cover assembly with the 4 1/4-inch screws at the bottom. Now we're ready to reinstall the lower service panel. We're just gonna line up the screw holes on the service panel and then re-secure the panel with the 4 1/4-inch screws we removed earlier. So once the panel's secure, you can go ahead and plug in the unit, check the operations, and this will complete your repair. Thank you for watching another quality in-home repair video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.